Welcome back to the D3 Grind. It is a wonderful Friday morning. It's DAJT. We're here with Steve Dillard. Steve-O, thank you for being here. Dylan, can you give us the proper introduction of Steven?
Heck yes, I can. So, here with Steve-O today, as JT likes to call him, to be correct. So, Steve went to Beloit High School. He played basketball and track. His AAU team was Wisconsin Academy. He was Rock Valley's second team all-conference in 2018 and 2019, where he averaged 12.8 points a game, and he scored a career-high 9 points in a victory over Whitewater. And then in that same season, he actually made 73-pointers on 211 shots as a junior for a clip of 33%. And now Steve is at MSOE, and he's currently a senior. So, Steve, I can't thank you enough for joining the show.
Yeah, fellas, thanks for having me on. It's a real privilege.
Steve-O, can you take some time and tell us about your high school career and what that was like and what kind of player you are?
Yeah, so the player I was in high school is kind of way different than the player I am in college. In high school, I was a very, very skinny fellow, and I liked to shoot threes and run off screens and play no defense, and that's all I did in high school. We actually played in the same AAU team together, and that was an interesting experience to say the least. And so, I just shot a bunch of threes in high school and was more concerned about scoring. And even though I didn't score a whole lot, I did all right in some games. And yeah, it's completely different how I play now.
Steve's being super modest. Steve was a sniper in high school. I remember our coach put Steph Curry range, get him off the line. Steve, the point of this podcast is to kind of talk about, going to college, playing college basketball, but we want to stop you for a second. Can you talk about your high school recruiting process?
Yeah, so obviously we're all D3 athletes here. I didn't have a ton of, bigger WEAC schools looking at me. I had Stevens Point on my tail for most of my senior year because we played Waupun when Waupun was really good, and I went off against Waupun, so Point recruited me for a while, and then just a bunch of private schools. Interestingly enough, Beloit College kind of called MSOE about me, and I remember having that conversation with Coach Rainey. He called MSOE for me, and that's how MSOE got on my tail. And then that was the only school that offered the education I wanted because we're not Division I hoopers. Education is incredibly important for us, so they matched up with basketball, my engineering career. So I slid over to Milwaukee.
I think a lot of the things that seniors, especially myself, have trouble with is kind of managing where I want to go to school, and then also like texting back recruiters and seeing recruiters and making them happy. So what was that process like for you? Because you had so many people on your tail because of your size and ability to shoot the ball.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, the biggest thing was education, and so the school offered nothing that I wanted to do for education. It was a shorter conversation, but there was enough schools that offered some sort of engineering or physics or anything practical that there was a lot of phone calls and a lot of people to text. So it took a lot of prayer and a lot of talking with the old man to figure that whole process out.
I was going to ask, did most of your offers happen to come in the state of Wisconsin, or were they pretty well spread out?
Yeah, most of them were Wisconsin. There was a couple smaller schools like Lake Forest and stuff that are actually in your guys' conference that wanted me to go over to Illinois and stuff. But I was convinced I was going to stay in Wisconsin.
Steve-O, you're one of the hardest workers I know. But one of the things is you're so dedicated. I remember you sending out all those emails to WEAC schools, and what was that process like? Of hi, I'm Steve Dillard. Please recruit me. Was that nerve-wracking? Was that scary, or what was that like?
Yeah, the whole approach I took to there is, well, one of them's got to respond. So I might as well send email that might consider picking me up. So I sent dozens and dozens and dozens of emails to different colleges and stuff, and oftentimes I'd have to email the same college, 4 or 5 times before they got back to me. But that persistence led to a lot of, invites to camps and stuff like that, and a lot of invites to go visit and stuff. So, somebody's gonna say yes, man. If you keep knocking, somebody's gonna open the door for you.
Exactly. Similar to you, Steve, I actually used an app called NCSA and did the same thing. Because in my area, we've talked about it before in this pod, there's not really too many D2, D3 schools, so I was same thing every day, emailing 5 to 10 coaches through this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what you have to do.
Can you talk about how much work you had to put in to even play Division III basketball? Because we think a lot of people take Division III as kind of a cup of tea, but I think you and me spent most of the summers in the gym and playing as much as we could.
Yeah, I mean, like you hear it all the time from guys that win D1, but like it's the same process for guys like us that win D3. You know, like I sacrificed that. You know, I would go to bed early, every single day. My senior year, every single day, I got to the school by 6 o'clock in the morning. Every single day, 5 days a week.
I think one of the things I really want to know truly is what was your off-season program like? Like, what are you doing at Turner when you get in the gym? What are you focusing on? Are you hitting the weights? Did you not hit the weights early enough?
I didn't hit the weights early enough at all. Actually, I'm fine now, but I didn't hit the weights early enough at all. So like, you know, senior year was like the first time I like actually started lifting, and then it was just whatever my football guys would do. So my football coach was also the assistant basketball coach, and you know he just gave us the same stuff that the football guys did. And that got me strong enough. But like, yeah, I didn't hit the weights early enough and all. But for me personally, it was all around like moving off screens, shooting on the move, and then pull-ups. That's like all I worked on.
I think I talked about it in our first episode a lot. I talked about it for like 40 minutes. But can you explain what AAU was like and what you tried to get out of it in your experience?
Yeah, so the whole point of AAU is to go play some high-level guys and you know, get some exposure out there. And I feel like, you know, the academy I don't know if it treated us the right way at times, but it did treat us the right way at other times, you know, like we were able to go to like St. Louis and Kansas City and stuff like that, play against some really high-level guys, you know, like when I wasn't there for this KC tournament, when you guys played KC Run GMC or something like that.
Yeah.
And a couple guys from Nova were there, like Zach Harvey and them. So like, playing against those type of guys was, you know, really fun. And then being exposed to that kind of level of competition really helped us out.
You're being super political right now, Steve. Tell me what AAU is really like. Don't shy away from it. Did you like, you know, you only got like 10
I mean, I don't get me wrong. I'd like to shoot the ball as much in AAU as I did in high school, but, you know, it didn't work out like that. So, but overall, I think it was a positive experience. And I think, well, you know, I clearly wouldn't be friends with you if it wasn't for AAU.
Yeah. God bless your soul. I think another question I had was if I'm a up-and-coming hooper, I'm like a freshman in high school, should I join an AAU program or what? Or should I just work on my skills in the summer and have my head coach recruit for me? Or what would you recommend to a younger hooper?
I think you have a little more. I mean, putting your coach to do your recruiting for you is kind of taking a chance there. And so if you really want to ensure that coaches are going to reach you, I honestly just join. I would personally, I would join AAU again and then work on the side or something, and then just send out tons of emails and phone calls and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But like, I think AAU is something that kids who are going to college should do because it gets you to exposure to a lot of high level competition.
For you, I guess I can ask, what was the hardest part of your recruiting process? Whether it was trying to figure out what school exactly you wanted to go to, maybe the preparation of it. What was the hardest part of that whole thing?
Honestly, before I like knew what MSOE was, I was like lost at like where I was gonna go to school because like there was Platteville who had some sort of education, but like I wasn't good enough to go play at Platteville, so I was honestly just kind of lost trying to find schools that kind of like fit my criteria there. And so like, you know, a lot of these private schools were starting to become more and more viable until MSOE rolled around. Like I was considering like going to Lakeland. Like that was a serious consideration at one point in time, or like just sitting out at Platteville or trying out for the team there, or going to Stevens Point. Like those were all viable options until MSOE rolled around.
Hey Dylan, I got one more. Steve, a lot of people look at private schools and they think they're a lot of money, and you and I aren't the wealthiest in the world. Are those private schools affordable for kids who want to play and aren't, you know, the wealthiest?
Yeah, I mean, your academics have to be exceptional. Like we were both really smart kids, so we got a lot of academic scholarships, and you know, due to not being, you know, in the greatest coming up, I had a lot of financial aid on top of that from the government. So I don't owe my school any money through those scholarships. And one thing like that I had to do is I would scholarship hunt every day, or get a certain amount of scholarships filed out per week or something like that. That was like a 3-month process, in the fall of my senior year, is just trying to get as many scholarships as I possibly could.
That junior summer, you really got to either scholarship hunt and then ACT prep, and then or I think that's at sophomore summer. It's incredibly hard.
Yeah, like you got to be diligent. You got to be diligent with your work.
Yeah.
Because those who don't end up actually do paying more. So like, both my parents were kind of on my case about that. It's like, we're not going to pay for your college. It's on you. How much do you want to pay for it? And I was like, I don't want to pay shit. So I scholarship hunted every day.
God bless you. Dylan, let's transition more into college. Hit him with some questions.
Yeah. So you talked about how difficult it was to kind of sort of choose, obviously, between education and hoops wise, just choosing the right fit for you. How much of a role did sort of the dining experience play, the food at MSOE, and as well as the looks of the campus and the dorm life? Did that sort of play a role at all?
Not as big as because MSOE doesn't have a great. Especially when I was here as a freshman, we don't have the stuff that we had now. MSOE is under construction all the time, trying to build up new things. My biggest thing with coming here was the guys I was around, because I was at the end of the day, my schools were Platteville and MSOE. I was either going to go to Platteville or MSOE, and the people I was surrounded with here were just so like-minded. And yeah, they told me that the food is cheeks, but we got Chipotle right down the street, so we're not in bad shape.
Dylan,
I remember our go-to meals were what, JT? Taco Bell and McDonald's. That was the closest thing to us besides anything else. So it was pretty bad. But so when you were paired up with your dorm roommates, did you happen to your freshman and sophomore year? Did you happen to be with teammates? Were you paired up with teammates, or was it just random people?
No, it was teammates. So one of my Cade Beekman, he's 32 on our team. He was my roommate freshman year, and then sophomore year, because we had one of the dorms under construction, we all had to move an apartment. So me and 3 other teammates fit in a little 2-bedroom apartment.
Crazy.
During the COVID year. So if one of us got COVID, we all were missing. So I've always been rooming with teammates.
Steve, what's it like being at a small school, but you're also on the Milwaukee City? You're basically getting a Milwaukee City experience at a small school, which is incredible.
Yeah, it's a really atypical college experience, I think, and I talk to my friends about this frequently. How many people can say they have the best bar scene in Wisconsin, 2 blocks from them? I live 3 blocks away from Pfizer Forum, so I can go to a Bucks game for $10 if I want and walk there. There's not many people that can have that type of experience. And then if I really want to get wild, there's Marquette and UWM around, so there are options here, which is pretty nice.
Let's get more into the hoop side. Your freshman year at MSOE, you play a little bit. What's that like? Is the speed scary, or what was that? Just talk about it.
Biggest thing adjusting to college was definitely the pace of the game. In high school, if we didn't have anything, we'd run 2 3-minute possessions. And you remember that you guys did it against us, we did it against you. But in college, you got 30-second stops, and so adjusting to that shot clock and adjusting to that pace is it was very tough. And with playing as a freshman, it was always have to be ready. So you have to be at all times. You have to be ready to do the things you don't want to do. I knew as a freshman the only way I was going to get minutes was playing defense and getting loose balls. And so that's what I did. That's what I adjusted my game to. And it worked out pretty all right for me.
So stepping foot on a college campus, were there any sort of eye-opening moments where you're dang, there's levels to this. There's levels to the high school Division III. Were there any sort of eye-opening moments for you?
Yeah, I realized that I wasn't the best athlete on the floor anymore. Yeah, I came to MSOE, and there was 7 guys in a row just dunking stuff, and I was like, what in the world? I was the only person that dunked in a game in high school, so I was like, okay, all right, yeah. And then I come in, and then Mike Pitchoff is throwing down windmills, and I'm like,
Mike Pitchoff.
The dude is so athletic.
Who was the dude your freshman year? Blonde-haired kid. Was that Pitchoff, or you had someone?
It was Matt Kermsey.
Matt Kermsey was a freaking
an absolute strap.
What was practice with him like? I just can't even imagine.
Oh, they would put me on him, and I was told you're gonna get real handsy with them and chase him around everywhere. Well, and so that's what I did. I literally was the defense dummy, and I would just chase them around about 4 different screens because we ran a different offense. We ran motion offense and stuff, and so I would chase them around about 40 pin downs.
It was basically blocker mover.
Yeah.
Dylan, let me get one and then I'll give it back to you. Steven, being from Beloit and then coming back your freshman year, MSOE, and you hit a 3 against Beloit College, you get a big win against Beloit College. What was that moment like for you? What was it like in your city to play college basketball your freshman year and kind of show
unreal experience. And I think that's why the coach put me in, because I was like, all right, we gotta throw him a bone. I had the whole neighborhood watching me and the whole fam watching me, so it was a very good experience.
Don't tell Coach Hans, I was cheering for you. That was the one time when you banged in that 3, I was like, MF'er, but I was so happy for you.
That was very
Dylan,
cool.
take it away.
Yep. So you've kind of sort of touched on the game side of obviously this. What is like your transportation situation like when you're traveling from city to city? Do you ever happen to take any planes, or is it bus rides, or what's that like?
So we have MSOE has vans. Like we have 2 little vans, and if the game is if we play CUW or WLC or anybody close, we take those vans. Most of the time we take buses though. And then we actually went to Cali this past winter break, and it was my first plane ride ever. It was actually really cool.
Were you scared?
No.
The things that D3 basketball can give you. Can you walk through each of your years and how they went for you basketball-wise? I know this year you lost your coach, but if you could just a quick, summary: freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, and then senior year.
Yeah, freshman year we got off to a slow start and then rattled off like 8 straight games and went like 16-13 or something like that, and lost to CW in the conference championship tournament. And that was I got to play in that game as a freshman. That was really dope. There was like 3,000 people. It was like a sectional game for us, JT.
Mm-hmm.
Like a sectional like high school game. That's what that tourney was like. So we lost in overtime. That was good. And then the COVID year happened. I don't know how many games you guys got, but we only got like 10. You guys, oh my gosh, you guys got 0 games. Yeah, we got robbed a half a year. I feel bad for you guys. And then junior year was, kind of the same as this year. Just lose every game we've lost has been 2 or 3 points. And so we've had nothing but close losses for the past 2 years, which is not ideal.
So sort of looking back at each year, what do you think helped you kind of sort of gain that playing time? Do you think it was just experience, just the work you put in? What exactly did you do in order to sort of gain those minutes?
Experience is a big thing. Is knowing college basketball and knowing tendencies, like never coming off ball side corner in college, like or else you're gonna get torched, or like staying mid. We do pack defense, or just staying midline in the paint, or just little tendencies like that really helped. And then for me, the biggest thing was actually the weight room. I got bigger throughout the time I was here, which made me more versatile defensively, which allowed me to keep time that other guys didn't have. Other guys could guard like guards, but they couldn't guard bigs, or they didn't guard bigs, they couldn't guard guards. I'm big enough and fast enough to guard both, I think.
For those of you who are new, what to like Wisconsin basketball in Division III, what's the NAC conference like?
Anybody can beat anybody, and anybody can lose to anybody. It's really tight. Like we're a few games behind in the tournament, but we're only like 2 games behind like 6 people. Even guys that are in the tournament, we're only a couple of games behind them, so it's really competitive.
You can give us a couple of teams too, and what they run and the stuff like that.
Yeah, a lot of motion stuff, and there's not really. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of motion offense stuff. A lot of people run a lot of similar things, and one little weird thing though. There's like over half our teams don't have like a baseline out of bounds play. Seriously.
That's wild.
It's the weirdest thing in the world. Like they don't run baseline out of bounds. It's just get the ball in the short corner and run a handoff off of that or something like that.
They don't run the classic throw to the guy in the corner. He kicks it to the top of the key and then he sets the screen for the inbounder for a 3.
No.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Simple
it's weird.
stuff.
It's honestly weird. But a lot of guys, and a lot of teams tailor their offenses to their players. Like take Marion, our most recent game. Like their entire offense is revolved around those 2 guys. There's not a lot of teams with an established system, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Dilo?
Yep. So you sort of touched on the Wisconsin Wisconsin Conference. I noticed that you guys played Milwaukee, the Panthers. What, University of Milwaukee?
Yeah.
I noticed that you played them in both 2021 and 2022 season, and the 2022 and 2023 season. So, sort of touch on that matchup. Obviously, D3 plays D1. So, sort of touch on that matchup and describe the difference between that game and I guess any other game you play.
Yeah, well, the clear indicator, clear difference is size and athleticism. I wouldn't say that they can outshoot us, but, they're much, much bigger and much more athletic and quick and strong. Like, I got bullied, which doesn't happen a whole lot, but I got bullied. Overall, man, it was such a cool experience playing in Panther Arena. We got to play against Pat when he was in college. That was his first college game. He sprayed me.
He sprayed me.
Yeah, he sprayed me, dog. We lost by 6. But we were up at half and we lost by 6.
That's why.
I was gonna say the matchup last year was a lot closer than this year, and I'm surprised because, like you said, they had Patrick Baldwin, so I couldn't. Crazy.
Yeah, I think Milwaukee's actually way better this year than they were last year.
Yeah.
Like, Milwaukee might make the big dance this year, which I'm hoping so that way I can say I dunked on a tournament team.
There we go.
Steve-O, can you walk us through your average game day, like what it looks like, and then also touch on how much film you're watching as a team as well?
Yeah, so we watch film the day before every game, and if it's a really good team, like if we're playing like WLC or Marion or something like that, we'll watch film 2 days, the 2 practices before games, and Tuesday and Saturday games. That's what our conference schedule has. Tuesdays I go to class, we go to senior design and all that, and then from like 3 p.m. on, it's just getting ready, getting my body right and whatnot, and then Saturday it's the bus ride there, and the bus ride home. It's an all day event.
Nah. Give me. You wake up. What are you eating for breakfast? You're going to lunch. Who are you talking to? Give me a normal Steve-O day right here in a game.
Any routines or anything like
on a Tuesday, I'll get up at 8.
Thank you.
8 a.m. 8:01 exactly. Go to class at 9. Do homework from 10 to like 3. Probably skip my psychology class. Go to the caf. Go get some food. Go eat a sandwich, and then get to the gym by 5, get a because we have game times at 7, so I'm at the gym by like 4:35, get a very light lift in to activate all my muscles, go to the trainers, get right, and then by 5:30, 6 o'clock, I'm on the floor.
That's what I was looking for.
You talked about your game day routine. What does a day look like for Steve-O when he just has practice? Like, I don't think people understand what it takes to sort of balance athletics and school as well, because you got to find time to lift, you got to find time to shoot. So what does an average day look like for you if it's not a game day?
Let's take today, for example. Today's Friday. We had practice at 6 this morning, so we had that. Then I had class at 9, and I got project management at 1 to 4. So from now until 1 o'clock, I'll be doing homework, and then at 4 o'clock, I'll probably get another lift in. Then to do more homework after that. So it's an all-day 24/7, 25/8 type of deal, especially here because we have trimesters, so we move where the pace for academics is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the things I want to know about, because I felt this my freshman year, is do you ever get basketball burnout? Because I know we had open gyms in the fall and the spring, like whenever they were, and there were some times where it's just like, I just can't hoop anymore. I'm just tired. Do you ever experience
Oh yeah, like end of junior year was big too because we ended in such a salty note. Like I was, by the time like spring and summer rolled around, I was like, okay, I need a break. I need to put the ball down and go do something else, which kind of inspired my whole internship experience with the company I work for. But yeah, I definitely experienced burnout before.
So how do you get through it?
It's take a break and reset, man. Do something that it takes your mind off it. Still, don't get me wrong. We're not just sitting around while we do this break. We're still getting after it in some way, but just leaving the court for a little bit. Just then you think about it, then you sit on it. You gotta find if you're burned out, you gotta find your love for the game again.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta kind of rekindle that flame that once was there, and that's what I kind of had to do. Just take a break, and you will miss it. If you're a hooper, you will miss it after enough time.
So knowing that you're on the tail end of sort of your career at MSOE, could you say are some negatives about attending a D3 school and some positives as well?
Some negatives is, the school social life basketball balance is really tough to do. Like, we don't got tutors. Like, we don't get tutors here because we are an engineering school. We're expected to do it all ourselves. So that, I've definitely pulled a few all-nighters trying to get homework done and projects done and whatnot, and that's not fun at all. I mean, you're just exhausted all the time towards the end of the season because you're basketball 6 days a week, school 7 days a week. So you kind of got yourself no time to do your hobbies or do anything socially. So that would probably be the negative. But I think a real good positive thing is the connections you make and the experiences you have. Like you guys have played in that close game before when the clock's ticking down and it's a one-possession game. Those games are so fun. Those are the experiences you remember, and the guys you do it with, lifelong connections. I think
one of the things I wish I did better in high school, and you kind of talked about it, is like making those brotherhoods, because some of the friends you make in college will be the most lifelong friends you'll ever make. But do you ever wish you brought like a friend with you to college, or was your experience so great that you didn't need that?
I went to college wanting to do something a little different than the rest of my high school did. So I'm really
even like our AAU teammates, like, did you want to bring like Cade or hey Tyler, bring Tyler with you, or just a friend potentially, or are you?
Oh yeah, I would have loved to have a friend from high school go to college with me, but nobody wants to do the things I'm doing. Like it would have been great if you came with me, JT, but you wanted to go to Beloit, so like.
We wanted different experiences. That is something that's tough. I remember, and this is a story I haven't told before, so this is going to be embarrassing, but I recruited like a motherfucker when I committed to Beloit. I was talking to Stryker. I was talking to Noah Jesserwitz. I was talking to so many people just so I could find someone to bring to Beloit with me. And it's kind of crazy. You get to the end of high school and everyone's like, oh, I want to get out. I want to separate. And it's like, well, if you can find somebody who can like get that first foot in the door with, it's great. But I kind of talked a lot. Could you touch on like the brotherhood that you have playing Division III basketball?
Yeah, so wise man once told me that D3 sports is basically like having your own little frat. And I think
that's the perfect way to put it.
That might be the truest thing that you could possibly say.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah, like my house is now known as the basketball house. Like, oh my God, I have half my team come over every single day, like unannounced. So like I'm established a really good connection with them. Like I'll go walk out of the shower and there's just like 6 of my teammates sitting on the couch. Okay, hey guys, how's it going? And so it's incredible experience. Like getting really close with those guys because keep in mind we're all like-minded. Like we all think similar ways. Not only on a basketball level but academically and socially too. Mm-hmm. It's making connections.
So you sort of
keep on.
No, it's just you sort of touched on how like it was a brotherhood. I think the one negative about going to Beloit that each team was very cliquey. So like you said, it's sort of like a frat, but each team was very cliquey. Like football guys would just hang with football guys, basketball guys would just hang with basketball guys. I don't know if that's similar for you at MSOE, but kind of touch on that.
100% is. And, like the hockey guys go with the hockey guys, soccer guys go with the soccer guys, baseball guys go with the baseball guys. Don't get me wrong, like I have friends, on every team and we all get together, but like they had a choice. They're going to go with their boys, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to go with mine. So it's definitely very cliquey. We do get together, though, on occasion. We get all the sports together and have ourselves a little ball.
I'm sure y'all fight over girls. What is...
The 6 girls that go to the school, yeah.
If I'm watching this, I'm a young kid, what is your best recruiting pitch for MSOE? Like, Steve Dillard, tell me why I should go to MSOE and play basketball and get a great education.
The check at the end of the day is going to be pretty big. Just letting you know. If you want to get paid, go to the school, man. Our average salary is ridiculous. I'm going to be doing very well for myself next year. So if you want a good high-paying job and a guaranteed job, mind that, because the STEM field is growing. And people always need people in STEM. I've definitely come to school.
Playing for that
if you could tell a high school athlete who is deciding whether or not playing college sports is for them, like what would you tell them? Because I know for me, I kind of was weighing. Obviously, like you said, we're not at the D1 level. We don't have all those offers. So I was in between weighing if I should even play basketball or not. So what would you tell a high school athlete in your position who's kind of up in the air of what to do?
I think I would ask them is, do they want to be, atypical or typical? Like, do you want to be, because, like, yeah, it's not the hardest thing to get in the D3, but you're still playing a college sport. There's most of the people at your campus don't play a college sport. You got to think, I got 3,000 kids that go to the school at MSOE, and I'm one of the 17 that plays college basketball. So, like, you got to think of it that way. If you want to be atypical and strive out and try to do something great, or you want to be like everybody else. I think that's what I would use, because if they're debating it, they have that little fire in them, they have that little spark in them, and I think just the right push of being something better than being a part of something bigger than yourself too.
I want to touch on that real quick. I don't think you understand as an athlete, or not you specifically, and just you, the general person, how much of you playing basketball affects other people. Because I remember when I stopped playing because of my back, I had so many people reach out to me like, why aren't you playing, or why don't you keep playing? When you keep playing, there's relationships that you get to hold on to for the rest of your life, whether it be people who watched you in high school or your AAU coaches, or just relationships that people love watching you play basketball, even if you're the worst player on the team. Just to be out there, they love you for a reason. Yeah. And I think that's one of the reasons to play. I think I'm super happy I didn't go to that one of those big schools, because it's like Steve said, being typical.
Yeah, I would have been like everybody else, man.
Yes. And what's that stat? Only so many people play college sports.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah, 3.4% or something like that.
It's crazy. And what we want to do through this podcast, like you guys are reiterating, it's like no matter you're at the Division 1, Division 2, or Division 3, like we're talking about, there's only such a small percentage that actually do it. So why not just do it? Why not be, like you said, why not be different and try it out and at least give it a shot? Because at the end of the day, there's only so many people who could say they played college basketball and made it to that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's an experience that you're always gonna take with you. And you'll remember it when you're old and in a rocking chair and you're about to crow. You're gonna remember that time you're hooping with all your boys in the college level.
Steve-O, could you talk about your favorite basketball memory? Is it losing to me your sophomore year in the sectional semi?
Favorite basketball memory. The buzzer beater against Evansville was pretty dope.
9, for home with 8, with 7. He drives hard. It's blocked. Reyes the rebound. No good. Rebound tipped out. It's Walsh. Dilly. 3. Good!
Oh,
that was pretty dope. I think it's probably this past senior year. We were playing Luther, and I had a dunk with 45 seconds left to give us the lead. I think that was Coach Miller's last game, so it was kind of I think that was my coolest experience. Definitely, that essentially game winner dunk.
Dillo? Got anything else, or? I got something.
Okay, go ahead.
Jiva, what is your favorite off the court memory of hoops? Is it a moment with your parents? Is it a moment with your friends, a girlfriend, your brother?
Favorite off the court memory?
Yeah, is there because I specifically can
basketball wise, yes.
Yeah, I specifically remember hugging my dad after that Beloit Turner game, and that'll be a moment that I remember, as you said, to croak. Is there anything you have like that?
Yeah, I think really fond one was coming back home from Utah and not seeing my parents for 3 months, giving them a big hug. That was definitely a very warm moment. And then as soon as I get home, Pops is asking me if I could chop wood or not.
I had the same experience because my freshman year, we only got to go home for a week during Christmas break because you're in the midst of the season during the holidays, so it is a hard time. So similar to you, I got home, obviously greeted my parents, gave them hugs, and I remember my dad just giving me chores right off the bat. I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah, immediately.
No time.
It's good.
I'm like, I'm back home. I made it back home.
Yeah. That was probably a warmest off-the-court memory, yeah.
Steve-O, one final question from the both of us. Why should we play D3 basketball? Go all into, I'm a 10-year-old kid. It's my dream is to play Division I basketball, but my parents are both 5'9". Tell me why Division III basketball is the best.
I'm going to reiterate what I said. still atypical. Like, and if you do play D3 and you are a D1 level athlete, you're sure as hell going to score a lot of points probably. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you would have, I think playing college basketball is one of the greatest experiences that you can have as, have as an athlete. And to not do that for any reason would be, aside from like injury or like serious personal problems, I think it would be foolish to not play.
Steve-O, thank you so much for joining us. Dillo, you got anything else?
No, I just appreciate you coming on, and I hope you finish out your season strong, and I can't thank you enough for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me on, fellas. It was good to chat.
All love. This was episode 2, not 3, of the D3 Grind. Like our socials, like and follow. Thanks again for watching, and thanks to Steve Dillard. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, boys. See ya.